What's good, fam? Teacher Eddie back with another reaction. There's a brand new ERB right there, and I've been away for about 3 weeks now. I haven't done a new video, but ERB dropped a new one, so I had to make a comeback, even though I'm not fully recovered yet. I want to thank everybody who reached out with well wishes and everything else while I'm going through pretty tough time, but there's a new ERB, so I had to do it, especially because it's John Wick versus John McClane versus John Rambo, the Battle of the Johns. This is the best Christmas present ever. Yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Stop it. I don't want to hear it. I'm a big fan of all three of these characters. I got my little John McClane Funko here with the bare feet. These movies are, especially Rambo and Die Hard, are part of my childhood. I remember when Rambo came out, First Blood in 1982, went to see it in the movie theaters. All we knew Sylvester Stallone as was Rocky. You know, that was the big thing. He was coming off a few really bad movies, like Fist and especially Paradise Alley, and Rambo First Blood. I know a lot of people, look at the sequels and are like, a little hokey, but First Blood is actually an amazing movie, just like the first Rocky. A lot of people forget the first Rocky movie actually won the Academy Award for Best Picture and beat out a bunch of great movies in I think it was 75 or 77. But either case, Die Hard came out in 1988 and was really a watershed movie for action movies, because up until then, action movies were all these hulking, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger were obviously at the top of the food chain. But then along comes Bruce Willis, which was a weird casting at the time, because he had done a couple of comedies, but mostly he was known for a TV show called Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd, and he wasn't really, you wouldn't think of him as an action guy, and it kind of created the, cookie cutter, which a lot of movies have ripped off since, of just an average Joe. He doesn't have this amazing physique, he doesn't have all these prowesses, he's just an average dude, right? But he's put into an extraordinary situation. So these are 3 generations, basically, of different Johns in action movie history. So this should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it.
John Wick!
Oh, and just real quick, of course, I'm dropping, this is the full breakdown. I'm going to break it down line by line. And then in a little bit, I'm going to release the scoring. So the scoring video is a much shorter video where I just listen through the rap and then I score it on different categories that I have. So look out for that one in a little bit.
Larson! John McClane! Larson!
Oh, yeah.
John Rambo!
Oh, damn.
Alright, guess I'll be the one to draw first blood.
Or maybe you could draw an audience to see any of your new movies.
Come out to
Oh,
the coast,
shit.
we'll have a few laughs, sounds sweet. No, I'm stuck here with these 2 jerkweeds about to kick their ass with bare
Oh, I love it already, man. We got like a Mexican standoff. What a great muscle suit, man, on Rambo there. That shit looks legit, much better than that WWF shit they had. So he starts out, John Rambo, with the, I guess I'll draw first blood, which is the name of the first movie. It's not called Rambo, it's called First Blood. And the sequel is actually First Blood Part 2. Even though it's called Rambo, but it's First Blood Part 2, and then Rambo 3 is Rambo 3. Come out to the coast, we'll have a few laughs. That's what John McClane says, because he's going to visit his wife, Holly Gennaro, who's working at Nakatomi Plaza. He's an NYPD officer, so he's going out to the coast, West Coast, California, to visit his estranged wife. And during the whole hostage situation, he's kind of, throughout the whole movie, he's quipping a lot, and a lot of dad jokes, bad jokes. Welcome to the party, pal. When he kills the first villain, he writes on the sweater, ho, 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 now I have a gun too, right? But one of the lines he says was, come out to the coast, we'll have a few laughs. Like, what the fuck, man? And John Wick, of course, is making fun of them by saying, draw first blood, maybe you should draw people to some of your latest movies, which, especially Bruce Willis, man, he's been putting out straight to DVD bullshit for like the last decade. And Stallone hasn't fared too well either, aside from Creed, which I really did enjoy.
feet. I'll drop the beat. I'll set it off like it's the top of Nakatomi. Need a fire hose to swing on you, you're both so below me. I haven't stopped killing it since Carl's brother Tony, and I got your detonators right here. Blow me.
So that's a big thing in the movie, right? The detonators. But let's go back to the top.
Two jerkweeds about to kick their ass with bare feet.
Oh, about to kick their ass with bare feet. So yeah, so the little John McClane I have here, he's got the bare feet. So when John McClane is flying out in the beginning of the movie, one of the passengers next to him told him to get over the jet lag. A little trick he has is to take off his feet and make knuckles with his feet. I don't know. I've never flown, so I don't know if that's true or not. So he does take off his shoes when he gets to his room, when he's visiting his wife. And then when the hostage shit, comes off, he basically runs out and he doesn't have shoes the entire movie, right? And then there's the whole glass scene where the terrorists shoot out the glass and he's walking around. He's got his feet all cut up. So yeah, he's like, I'm gonna kick your ass on my bare feet. Argyle dropped the beat, and Argyle shout out, man. Shout out to Argyle. Argyle was the limo driver in the movie for Bruce Willis. Who did have a bit of a scene at the end when he knocks out one of the dudes, but I don't know, man. Whatever happened to Argyle, man? That was definitely a part that should have been, I could have pictured like a young Chris Rock in that part. That's like a year before New Jack City. I think that would have been more memorable. But yeah, Argyle dropped the beat.
I'll drop the beat. I'll set it off like it's the top of Nakatomi. Need a fire hose.
Shout out to
swing on you, you're both
Nakatomi.
so below me.
So I'm gonna blow it up like the top of Nakatomi. So in the movie, they do blow up the roof of Nakatomi Plaza. Bruce Willis runs up there to try to get all the hostages off the roof. He starts firing his gun, and then he ties a hose around his waist and jumps off the roof as it explodes. Amazing fucking scene. So he's saying, I'm about to blow it up like the top of Nakatomi. And he's saying that they're so below him, he has to swing down with that hose to get down to their level.
I haven't stopped killing it since Carl's brother Tony, and I got your detonators right here. Blow me.
I love it. So Carl's brother Tony. So that's the first person that John McClane kills in Die Hard. And then he sends him down in the elevator, and then all the terrorist dudes see him. And on his sweater, like I said, he had ho, 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 now I have a gun too. And then his brother Carl, which was the blonde, really built guy that Bruce Willis ends up hanging by his neck. But somehow at the end of the movie, he's still alive and he comes out just so Carl Winslow could have his redeeming moment, because the big thing is he shot this kid. He feels guilty about it, so he's never drawn his gun again. But then he draws his gun at the end of the movie to kill Carl to save John McClane.
Booby traps home, Rambo. Cause you'll never take the W without the P&O. Does your lip hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you string that shit up on your compound bow?
God damn, McClane is going in hard, man. He's making fun of Stallone's lip already. Yeah, famously, Stallone has that paralyzed lip. He's had that since childhood, from what I remember. His lip is paralyzed, basically. That's why he's got that droopy lip there, It's not like the Elvis snarl, hey, baby. And you can barely understand whatever the fuck he says, especially in that last speech he gives to Rambo. Nothing is over. You need to turn it off when he's talking to Trautman. God damn, man. But he said so. Oh yeah, the booby trap. So Rambo's known for setting booby traps.
Booby traps home, Rambo. Cause you'll never take the W without the P.
You'll never take the W without the P and O. So he's saying you'll never take the win without the P and O. So POW. Rambo was a POW in the book and in the movie. It was a book before it was a movie. It's an amazing book, by the way, if you haven't read it. But without the P and O, I guess that could also stand for like post office, going postal maybe.
Does your lip hang low? Does it wobble to and fro? Can you string that shit up on your compound bow? Lighten up, Wick, with your brooding saga. How about a little Hakuna Matata, Baba Yaga? You got the
Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, not Baba Yaga. I did a whole ass video about the myth of Baba Yaga, if you haven't seen that. But yeah, Baba Yaga is a nickname, I guess, for John Wick, because he's so scary. He comes in the dark and takes you out. But he's saying, yo, man, have some Hakuna Matata, right? Which is like, from the Lion King. Jesus Christ, I almost forgot about that. Still got that brain fog, but I'm trying to do my best here. But yeah, man, why don't you lighten up? Also lighten up, and he's got the Zippo there, so lighten up. A play on his name, Wick, John Wick, so lighten up.
The trousers, taper, and the watch, spooker. But your acting falls flatter than the Hans. Gruber! Leave the underground coin game.
God damn. That's why I say, man, it ain't Christmas until I see Hans Gruber falling from Nakatomi Plaza, man. That's when I know it's officially Christmas. But yeah, at the end of the movie, spoilers, movie came out in 1988, so fuck off if you haven't seen it. But yeah, at the end of the movie, Hans Gruber played brilliantly in the movie. He ends up falling to his death. Alan Rickman actually fell like 30 feet when they filmed that. That's why he has that fucking look on his face, like, oh my God, I'm really fucking falling. Alan Rickman, brilliant in that movie. And surprisingly enough, that was his acting debut. Like in his 40s. That is a heat check debut for an actor. I can't think of anyone else in their 40s who came in so hot and basically became like the paradigm for all villains. He's been so ripped off. But yeah, the big knock on Keanu Reeves has always been his acting, that he's wooden, he's got no emotion, it's basically the same thing, he's monotone. I enjoy Keanu Reeves, but in some movies he could be pretty flat.
The Mario Brothers and John Bobby. What the fuck's with the chest butter?
What the fuck's with the chest butter? Oh God.
The Mario Brothers.
Leave the underground coin game to the Mario Brothers. So coins play a big role in John Wick. Now, I've only seen the John Wick movies like once each. First Blood, I've seen like 1,000,000 times. Die Hard, 2,000,000 times. And I love Nice Peter's face there. Look at that. First off, the only knock I have against that muscle suit is it looks like he had open heart surgery like 5 times and they had to reopen that incision. Look at that fucking like midline section there. But I love the look on his face like, hey, that's pretty good. I like that. That was a good line. But yeah, so coins play a big role with like their exchange and staying at that fucking hotel, which is like a safe haven for the assassins and all that stuff. But he's saying, why don't you leave the coin game to the Mario Brothers?
And John Bobby. What the fuck's with the chest butter? The bandolier looks heavy as shit. I'm like this prick's ring finger, only need one clip.
Damn. Yeah, the chest butter. So yeah, Stallone does look oiled up in all those movies. Hey man, if you had a physique like Stallone, you'd be walking around shirtless and butted up too. But holy shit, man.
Bandolier looks heavy as shit. I'm like this prick's ring finger, only need one clip. So John Wick suffers 2 major losses in the movie. The first one that sends him off on like a killing rampage is when his dog Daisy gets killed. I remember the dog's name was Daisy because my dog's name was actually Daisy as well. I had a little poodle growing up. I know, it was really weird seeing a 6'5" guy walking around a little apricot poodle. But yeah, and the second one is of course when his wife dies, and he actually ends up cutting off his finger, his ring finger. But it's also a play, I guess, on clip, like a clip with bullets for a gun. John, there's so many Johns. John McClane, he's always like running low on bullets, especially at the end of the movie. He only has like, I think it's 2 bullets left. Yeah, because he shoots one of the guards and then he shoots Hans. So he only has 2 bullets. But he's like, all I need is 1 clip, man. I don't need all them bullets. I don't need that big-ass bandolier like Rambo. 1 clip! I've been sharp as shattered glass since the late 80s. And like your late pup, I'll leave you pushing up daisies!
Oh, man. Man. Look, man, the wife thing, okay, but leave the dog alone, man. But he's like, I've been sharp as glass since the 80s. So again, that's a reference, of course, to him being sharp as, glass. But also the scene was just great scene. People sleep on Die Hard, especially the generation that didn't grow up with Die Hard. you really have to understand. I mean, in the 80s, it was basically just Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Stallone came first. Stallone went back again to the 70s with Rocky. He made a couple of other good movies. Actually, a very underrated Stallone movie is Victory. It's a soccer movie set during World War II with prisoners of war. Actually, the greatest soccer player of all time, arguably greatest athlete of all time, Pele is in the movie. But then in 82, he makes First Blood, like I said, and that really just creates him as an action movie star. I mean, superstar. Schwarzenegger comes a little later. 84, he does Terminator. 85, he does Commando. But then he does, what did he do after Commando? I forget. Oh, Predator. Predator, just, oh my God, that movie still holds up to today. Predator is amazing. And then, of course, Schwarzenegger takes the crown when he does Terminator 2 in 1991, I want to say. It was either 90 or 91. At the time, it was like the most expensive movie ever made, and it was a huge blockbuster. And then Schwarzenegger holds on to the title for about another decade or so. But Die Hard, like I said, man, it was a watershed movie. It switched the entire paradigm. And then after that, you get so many ripoffs of, you know, like Speed, for example. You know, and all these movies where it's just regular dudes, you know, speaking of Keanu Reeves, Speed. And I mean, you can't just put a price on how big Bruce Willis was when that shit came out. But then, of course, Pushing Up Daisies, double meaning, pushing up daisies, meaning being buried underground, and also the dog's name was Daisy.
Less is more, boys. That's my advice. You less survival knife, you more survival wife.
God damn, McClane going in so hard. He's like, less is more, boys. Again, playing on... There's nothing special about John McClane. I mean, with John Wick, he's like this trained assassin. He's the Baba Yaga. John Rambo is an elite special forces commando. John McClane's just an NYPD cop, man. That's it. You know, there's nothing special about him. He doesn't have any special skills or anything else, right? So he's like, less is more, boys. He doesn't have any fancy weapons or anything else. And he's like, you less survival knife, which was a huge thing. I had that Rambo knife in the 80s as a kid, man. That shit was legit. And then he's like, more survival wife to John Wick. That's fucked up, man. The poor man's wife died. Come on, man.
Ooh. I'm gonna need a dinner reservation for 2. John Wick, I'm efficient and lean, a proficient professional killing machine. Underworld overachiever looking dapper as a buck, and only one of us to go 3 chapters without sucking. But
damn. Yeah, each of them had at least 3 movies. With Die Hard, I don't acknowledge any of the other Die Hards after Die Hard 3, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Rambo also had several movies, the first 3 Rambos. Then he went back to the well with, I think, 2 more movies. And John Wick has had 3 movies to date. Rambo, definitely. The first movie, amazing. Second movie, okay. The third movie, I don't know what the fuck happened with the Afghanistan thing and him going to save Colonel Trautman and shit. The John Wick movies, from what I remember, again, I only saw them 1 time each, but the 3 movies were fucking amazing. The first Die Hard is better than any of those other movies. That one is the King of Kings. Second one was okay, but not great. But I love the third one with Samuel L. Jackson and oh, I forgot old boy's name who played he played Hans Gruber's brother, Jeremy Irons. Jeremy Irons was amazing as Simon in that movie. So don't shit on part 3, man. So with Rambo, I agree. With Die Hard, I mean the second one was kind of but I like the Die Hard trilogy, but there was something else he said. Dinner reservation for 2. So dinner reservation, I remember, was code for body disposal, kind of like Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction. It's like, man, you calling the wolf? Yeah, you okay now, motherfucker? Shit, yeah, Negro. That's all you had to say.
Overachiever looking dapper as a buck, and only one of us to go 3 chapters without sucking. Between your elevator and the mine where you were trapped, you're such wieners I should call you both John Shaft. I craft rhymes with pencils, then jam them in necks.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of that John Shaft line. So in Die Hard, Bruce Willis gets thrown into an elevator shaft. Well, actually, no, he doesn't get thrown. He tries to climb down using one of the guns and the strap on the gun to hold himself while he's hanging off there. And then he ends up falling. Rambo gets caught in a mine shaft because he's being chased by the police in First Blood. And they shoot like a rocket at him. And they think they kill him, but they just cave in the mine, but he survives. But he's saying, John Shaft, because you're both wieners, you're both dicks. And I don't like that line, to be honest with you.
So I'm not vexed by Vets, Flex, and Roid injected pecs. Being excommunicado wasn't more than I could handle, so I think I can withstand an excremental ex-commando and this sad broken dad joke.
I will say one thing, his flow is hot. His flow is better than McClane's flow, but McClane has the better verses, the better lines, and the better insults. Being excommunicado, I love that fucking dance pose. Excommunicado, I think that was in the third one. He basically gets excommunicated and he has to fight off all the assassins because now there's a hit out on him. So he's saying that wasn't more than I could handle.
So I think I can withstand an excremental
ex-commando. Yeah, Stallone does look like he's taking a shit most of the times when he's acting. Like I said, Stallone wins the overacting award in a lot of his movies.
Ex-commando and this sad broken dad joke at Popo is no folk.
Ooh. Let me hear that again.
I can withstand an excremental ex-commando and this sad broken dad joke at Popo is...
Sad joking dad, but Popo is no foe. I like that. Yeah, McClane does make a lot of dad jokes, but he does make a lot of good jokes, man. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Popo, yeah, he's Popo, man. That's it, man. He's just a cop.
No folk for the virtuoso bad virtuoso. Ho 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 to quivers and bows. I'm delivering blows, and when they land, it won't help to make fists with your toes. Bitcoin, no. Hitcoin, certainly. I'll put you two in tune. Call it cryptocurrency.
Again, see, I don't like that. I'll save it for the grading, but I don't like some of these hits coming from John Wick.
I'm delivering blows, and when they land, it.
The bows, again, John McClane made a reference to the bow. Rambo uses bow and arrows a lot.
Won't help to make fists with your toes.
Fists with your toes, I already mentioned when John McClane takes his shoes off to get over the jet lag, because the guy recommended making fists with your toes.
Bitcoin, no. Hitcoin, certainly. I'll put you two in tune. Call it crypto.
Yeah, it feels like he went... Like he's going the long way around to like make his punchline. I mean, it's clever, yes. Hitcoin, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, because crypt, he's gonna kill them. Cryptocurrency, and again, coins play a big part in John Wick.
Currency, obey your superior like good cops and soldiers. Raven, Roy, you're done. Over.
Ooh, that was a clever line.
Superior.
Obey your superior like a good cop and a good soldier. So he's saying he's their superior.
Like good cops and soldiers. Raven, Roy.
I like that. That is a deep cut. That's gonna spoilers. That's gonna probably win the deep cut award when I do the grading. So Raven is actually Rambo's I guess code name. I forget what you call it. Call name, code name, whatever it is. Because when Colonel Trautman comes in First Blood. And calls him on the walkie-talkie, he refers to him as Raven, and that was his call name in Vietnam. Roy is the name that John McClane gives to Al, the cop, played by Reginald Vell Johnson, who famously played the dad in Family Matters. I want to say Carl Weathers. No, his name wasn't Carl Weathers. That's Apollo Creed. Carl Winslow, yeah. But when Al asked him what his name is, Bruce Willis's name, he gives the name Roy. So I like he doesn't refer to them by their real names, but by their code names. Raven, Roy, you're done.
Roy, you're done. Good. Over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it on.
Holy shit, man! Nice, Peter. Nailed that. That is like the best worst scene in First Blood. At the end, when Trautman, Colonel Trautman, I've mentioned a few times, he was Rambo's superior officer in Vietnam, and he refers to himself as the man who made Rambo. So when Rambo's going berserk, he comes in to try to kind of, like bring him back from the edge. And he tells him, "It's over, John, it's over." And he's like, "Nothing is over." And he gives this long speech, and he says, literally, you don't just turn it off. Like, he's trying to return to this world from this horrific war where he was a POW and he was tortured and everything else. And he gets abused by these police officers, and all the man wanted was some food. That was it. But he literally says that. But he got Stallone's inflection. He got his tone. He got everything. That was amazing.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it on! Unless it's one of your movies. In which case, I just turn it on! When I rip off my shirt and start swinging my stick swords, I'm hotter than the suicide girls on your switchboard. My headband's
the Suicide Girls on the switchboards. So I forget the name of the organization. It was something table. I think it was the High Table, if I'm not mistaken. But they use a lot of antiquated technology. And one of them is actual switchboards, like you see in the movies, like from the 40s and 50s. And the girls who staff these switchboards look like they were inspired by the Suicide Girls. They got all these tattoos and everything.
red, but I got no love for commies. No juice was used to produce these armies. Headband's red, but I got no love for commies.
I like that he says his headband is red, but his headband is clearly black. I'm colorblind, and I can tell it's black. But yeah, Rambo had the famous red headband. But he didn't have... I don't remember if he had it in the first movie, in First Blood. I'm not sure. I think he had a headband. I don't know if it was red. But he's like, I got no love for commies, which is a very 80s thing, 70s and 80s movies, because the bad guys were always the communists. And in Rambo, well, First Blood, he comes back from Vietnam, which was fighting against communism in Vietnam. So yeah, I don't get the line in this video.
No juice was used to produce these armies. High-table rules don't apply to this conflict. I'll finish you right in the lobby. Mission accomplished.
All right. Rambo just does not compare to Wick and McClane so far. He's saying the high table rules, which again are the rules for all the assassins and everything else. But he's saying they don't apply to this conflict because Rambo wouldn't need to follow those rules. And he would finish him off in the lobby, even though there's supposed to be no violence within the hotel. So he's like, I don't care. I'll finish you off in the fucking lobby. There was something before that.
No juice was used.
Oh, no juice was used to prefer these armies. Get it? Get it? Talk about dad jokes.
To produce these armies. High-table rules don't apply to this conflict. I'll finish you right in the lobby. Mission accomplished. South is where your marriage went. The last pipe thing you slid in was an air vent. Hey.
That's a great line, but... well, yeah, I mean, his marriage is going south in the first movie, but him and his wife actually reconcile at the end. And in part 2, I think they're together the whole movie. I don't think they're together again in part 3, though. But in either case, you know, I guess it's a good line. It's clever. The last tight thing you slid in was an air vent, because there's that famous, very claustrophobic scene where John McClane is crawling through the air vents.
Used to say you were a handsome crusader. Too bad your hairline couldn't get saved by Steve Urkel's neighbor. Oh, I slip into the jungle.
I like how Rambo was jacked by his line. Like, he gave himself an see, I got you there, motherfucker. Yeah, Bruce Willis famous. I mean, in Die Hard, he had the receding hairline. I shouldn't talk. But yeah, Bruce Willis went bald pretty quick. But Bruce Willis is one of the few white men that pulls off the bald look fairly well. I still think he looks pretty badass.
Disappear like a ghost, then ding, I pop up behind you like pussy peace.
Looks more like a zit.
Like a ghost, then ding.
Yeah, it looks more like a really infected zit. But yeah, Rambo, I mean, Schwarzenegger did it better in Predator, and Martin Sheen did it better in Apocalypse Now. But yeah, Stallone has those moments where he like slips up behind you in the Rambo movies, like out of, you know, a swamp of mud or something like that.
I pop up behind you like pussy peace, but
and oh, like toast. Wait, what was the scene? Oh, in Pulp Fiction. I think that
Disappear
could
like
be.
a ghost. Then ding, I pop up behind you like pop.
I disappear behind. I could be digging too deep into this one, but there's a scene in Pulp Fiction, because I was actually talking about Pulp Fiction today, and how Bruce Willis's girlfriend like totally ruins that part of the movie for me. But there's the scene where Butch goes back to the apartment. Butch is played by Bruce Willis to get back his father's watch, which Christopher Walken snuck into the country in his ass. Terrible Christopher Walken, I know. But when he goes back to the apartment, Vince Vega, played by John Travolta, is taking a shit in his bathroom. And as the toast pops out of the toaster, Bruce Willis kills him while he's taking a shit on the toilet. So he kind of pops up, not from behind, up in front. But, I mean, maybe I'm digging too deep, but, eh.
I seek peace, but I'm packing parabellum. I was trained to be the very best soldier boy. I'm blessed in RP.
Oh, there's Trautman.
I'm packing parabellum. I was trained to be the very best soldier boy.
There's Colonel Trautman, who trained him.
Blessed in RPG through NYPD's guts. Simon says you can PTSD. Duh!
Ooh, there was a couple. There was a couple there.
PG through NYPD.
I'll blast an RPG through NYPD's guts. So he's making a reference to John McClane being an NYPD officer. But again, as I mentioned before, in First Blood, the original Rambo movie, the whole movie, the antagonists are the police officers. So he's taking on the cops in that movie. And they do use an RPG against him. He famously uses the RPG like in the second and third movies.
PD's guts. Simon says you can PT.
Simon Says, so in the third Die Hard movie, as I mentioned, Jeremy Irons plays Hans Gruber's brother, who's out for revenge against McClane for killing his brother. So throughout the entire movie, he's sending John McClane on these bogus missions. Otherwise, you know, people are going to die and whatever. So he keeps on referring to himself as Simon. So all the missions, he says Simon Says. PTSD's nuts. Rambo definitely has PTSD.
Jesus Christ, asshole! What are you doing? This is not some Saturday morning cartoon for you to ruin.
Oh shit, I forgot! Rambo did have a Saturday morning cartoon. Oh goddamn. I don't remember if it was good or bad though. I guess if I don't remember it, it wasn't that good. Because I remember Saturday morning cartoons as a kid.
Getting ruined is McClane family Christmas. All your kids still have decent dad on their wish list.
Ooh, okay. That was the best line by Rambo so far. Definitely. So Christmas does get ruined in the first two movies at least. Because the first two movies take place during Christmas. And yeah, Christmas definitely gets ruined. And decent dad on their wish list. Yeah, McClane and his kids do not have a good relationship, especially with his son, which we see in the later movies. Which let's pretend they don't exist.
Whoa! Rambo dropping bombs in his flows. Your pals in the Taliban help you write those.
Those were Mujahideen. There's a difference. The Taliban formed in the 90s when you fell off with a vengeance.
Hey!
Ooh. See, man, he's shitting on Die Hard with a Vengeance, man. Don't shit on Die Hard with a Vengeance. That movie was the shit. I still love that movie. But yeah, McClane does make a mistake. So I think it was the third movie where he goes to Afghanistan because Colonel Trautman gets kidnapped. And he does hook up with the Mujahideen. So it wouldn't have been the Taliban, even though the Taliban did come from the Mujahideen, but they didn't come around until the 90s, and the third Rambo movie came out in like 87 or 88, so it was way before, well, not way before, but before the Taliban. So he did correct him on that, but yeah, then he shits on him in the 90s. When your career fell off. Man, Bruce Willis still had some hits in the 90s. Bruce Willis fell off for a bit. You know, he had the Look Who's Talking movies, but he also did Pulp Fiction in 94. Then, of course, he had The Sixth Sense. He had some still had some great movies in the 90s.
Hey, who the fuck asked you, dog pound? Go lock your mouth in a hole in the ground.
Oh, that's a reference to that meme. I forget the movie. I think it was called Knock or something like that. But there's one scene where Keanu Reeves gets buried up to his neck in sand. Oh shit. He's got the Vietnam flashback.
Suit away from presentable. I'm thinking I'm bad. And I'm thinking you're expendable.
You wanna die hard? Well, today's a good day. Let's go, motherfuckers! Yippee-ki-yay!
Oh goddamn, that was so good. Let's see.
I'm thinking I'm back. And
I'm thinking I'm back. That's a line John Wick says in the movie, because he does retire, quote unquote, and then he just when I thought it was out, they pulled me back in.
thinking you're
Expendable, reference to the Expendable movies, which Bruce Willis was in, which is led by Sylvester Stallone.
You wanna die hard? Well, today's a good
You want to die hard? I love when anybody works in the title of the movie in the movie.
day. Let's go.
And that's literally taken from the movie Die Hard when he has only 2 bullets left. He tapes the gun to his back and pretends to surrender to Hans Gruber.
Oh, motherfuckers! Yippee-ki-yay!
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Who won? Well, you're going to have to tune in to my next video where I do the scoring. Again, this was the full breakdown, line by line. As always, Teacher Eddie tries to catch every reference there is, but still suffering from that brain fog. Depression's a bitch, but this was a really, really fun one. I was kind of dreading doing this because I hadn't done a video in so long. I went from doing videos daily for the past year and a half to didn't put out a video for 3 weeks. But thank you to everybody for the well wishes. I apologize that I haven't been active, but I'm going to try to be more active and try to like push myself through this. But either case, I loved it. This was, I think this might have been my favorite one of the 3 new ones that they put out. I guess because I just love I mean, Die Hard is definitely my favorite. Rambo and John Wick are great, but this was, I mean, Rambo definitely was kind of in this one. He had a couple of good lines, but I'll see you in the scoring video in a little while. I've been Teacher Eddie. Thank you everybody for the support. If you want to support the show, check out the links. Check out the links in the description. Check out the links over there for Patreon, Discord, and all that good stuff. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll catch you in the next video. Fam! And as always, shouting out Teacher Eddie's Patreons who keep things running here. Starting with the top Chancellors tier, Elena G, Alex, Cuckles, Kiara, John Alonzo, Naval Colt, and the Hollow King. The Principals tier, Addison Lynn, Blue Tech, Chad A, Chris H, Chrissy, Clement, Freeman, Laura, Lord Gandalf, Monica Gatti, Nathan M, Quiet J, Rachel H, Rob N, Robin B, and Vijandra. I've been Teacher Eddie, and I'll catch you next time. Fam!